Good morning, my dear students. How are you? Okay, I think all you are safe. Okay, last two videos we have discussed somewhat basics. What things will come in the social. So now we'll discuss remaining continuous somewhat some basics. Okay, in that in last video we have discussed mainly geography, I mean oceans, continents, planets, play and landforms, maps. These all are related to geography, geology. What are the things on the earth and about earth and about our surroundings? These everything we have discussed. Now we'll discuss about history. History. What is history? A study of past events. A study of past events. A study of past events, those are related with people, country, area, period, a person, a particular person, etc. That is called history. History means a study of past events. Those are related with, or dealing with people or human beings, people, country, place, period, a particular person, etc. So that is history. So in that history, we will actually in our textbook last, before the model, before the CC model, there is a different four patterns are there in the social. Those are geography, history, politics, economics, like that. But present they are added all the things. Like first, he is giving geography and economics, and the next part he is giving history and politics, and but totally combined he is giving the lesson chapters. Okay, so in this history part, I mean, we can easily understand it is history part. How can you understand? So which is past events, already those things are done, these are already done, past events. So further past event we will learn, we will discuss, that is history. So in that, this history we know prehistory, ancient history, next to of present history. Like that history is it three types of history is there, that is prehistory, ancient history, prehistory, historic period. That is promo. Okay, here ancient history, previous ancient history is very long, 1,40,000 years ago. Ancient history, and up to 40,000 prehistory. Prehistory is next promo history or historic period. That is 20,000 years. 20,000 from 20,000 years this year. This history again divided into three parts. This is also ancient period, ancient period, medieval period, modern period. So, like ancient period, medieval period, modern period. Like that, they have again divided. Like that, history is different, pattern is there, different historians. They have given periods in different way. In Europeans one way, and Asians another way. Like that, different people, different historians. They have separated these periodicals. How can we know what happened to the people? How can we know? We know by to by digging. When you done the digging, in the digging, if you got any materials, things, that is called archaeology. That is called as archaeology. By the archaeology means archaeology. Here archaeology means by the digging we will get some things, whatever historians, the human beings used. They used what they have used, their ornaments and their houses, their things, what the things in the cooking and by the walking and traveling, what they have used, their buildings, their constructions, everything we can know by digging. So this is called archaeology. By the archaeology, by carbons. One of the carbons, they can get the period of time, which period this was happened, which period the thing belongs to. Like the period we can know by the archaeology. By digging, whatever constructions are there in the under the earth, so these things we can get. So after some disturbances, after some disasters, those things, those past events are totally closed out. They are closed out. Then when we are digging that, then we are getting whatever things are available. So those things by carbons, by the carbon things, we can know that the things belongs to which period. Such like things are there. So that is called archaeology. Next, by study of human beings, which human beings, how they are living, whatever their habits, how they lived, and what about their standards, what their dressing styles, their whatever, what the food they have which food they are eating, and which food they used to eat. So these things are called as anthropology. Anthropology. So first, archaeology. Who have done this archaeology? Archaeology done by John Marshall. Who has done archaeology? Archaeology things who has done John Marshall. 5,000 years ago, he had started this archaeology to digging the earth and to know the things and whatever which one will be there to know the period of time. There are radiocarbons which will be there. They use radiocarbons. By the radiocarbons, they can know that is belongs to which period, the thing belongs to which period, how many years that thing is there, how many years it has, how many years it has the thing. Such like we can know by the archaeology. It was started by John Marshall. Next, another one, anthropology. Anthropology, it is also to know the different people and their occupations, their habits, their standards, their way of dressing, their way of talking, everything they can observe. That is called anthropology, the study of human beings, study on human beings, study on things, archaeology, study on human beings, anthropology. So anthropology you had started Martiman Wheeler. This is Marshall, John Marshall. John Marshall is Martiman Wheeler. Martiman Wheeler. Okay, like that history is there. In that history, we have to know first thing about evaluation of human beings, how the human beings are evaluated, who was the first living being on the earth. These things we have to know. These everything we can't see in our textbooks, but basics and the basic way we have to know about these things. Okay, so first evaluation of human beings, if you see that, here I have told historic period, that is, you can say pro-history, the prehistory, pro-history. You understand? I have told ancient period and ancient history, prehistory, pro-history. The pro-history divide as a three parts: ancient period, medieval period, early modern period also we can say, early modern period and modern period, like that we can say. Okay, so as per Europeans, so that is different way. As per Europeans, okay, understood. Here again I am telling ancient history, prehistory, pro-history. This pro-history again divided to different one area: ancient period, medieval period, modern period. And Europeans they have divided as a ancient period, medieval period, early modern period, modern period. Like that they have divided European as per Europeans. So like that will be there. So here in the evaluation of human beings, evaluation of human beings, which was the first human being, first living thing on the earth. If you see that the first living thing on when earth was formed nearly 4.5 billion years ago, but 1 years, 1 billion years ago, the some living beings are started on the earth. So which was the first living being on the earth? That is larva. First living being on the earth, larva. And second, after that larva is one of the living being. Okay, so it is very bigger. Later, after larva, which was formed placenta. This is a second living being on the earth, placenta. And the third one, flora and fauna. Flora and fauna. Flora and fauna. Placenta, after larva, placenta, one of the living being on the earth. And this placenta again formed as a flora and fauna. Flora and fauna. Flora means trees, vraksha jati in Telugu. Fana means animals. I mean, living being, human beings, animals, whatever. Animals, fana. Vraksha jati, jantu jati in Telugu. Okay, like that, flora and fauna came. After this, after some gradually, so many years after, some millions of years after, some millions of years. First larva after some million of years, placenta. After that, I mean flora. After that, animals in the flora and fauna is there. In that fauna, and there is Astropithecus. These are the stages of human beings. Different stages of human beings, you can say. Different stages of human beings. Human stages, those are. You understand? First living being, second one, third one. In that, in this flora and fauna, stages of human stages, we can say human stages. What are the human stages? Those are Astropithecus. 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 Second one, I'll write here second. Okay, second here. I'll write. Astropithecus, Ramapithecus, Astropithecus, Ramapithecus, Homo erectus, Homo erectus, Neanderthal man, Neanderthal man, and the last one, sorry, Neanderthal man after Homo sapiens. Those are the last people. Homo, last stage of Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens are the near to human, present human beings. They are close to, near to their characters. I mean, their whatever characters, everything related to present human beings. Understood? Astropithecus, Ramapithecus. These all are the human stages, but they are like a animals, totally animals like that. Ramapithecus, Homo erectus, Neanderthal man, somewhat related to man, like a man, but not fully man, Neanderthal man. And after that, Homo sapiens are also called as chromognons. Homo sapiens are also called as chromognons. Chromognons are very close to present human beings. Like that, the human stages are started. Human stages are started. Like these Homo sapiens, these chromognons, they all are lived in the forest areas. They lived in the forest areas. First, they lived like a hunters and gatherers. They hunt the animals, and they hunting the animals, fishing, and their food habits are totally different. Only raw food, that is the fishes, animals flesh, and fishes, and they wear animal skin, and they eat fruits, roots, and different leaves. They eat fruits of trees, and barks of trees, and also roots of trees, and leaves of trees. Like that, they live totally like an animal. They lived in the forest areas, and they wear animal skin, like they wear like a dress. Okay, and they wandered in the forest. They wandered one place to another place continuously, and those are called as nomads. Those are called as nomads. Who are the tribal peoples? Who are the people moves? The tribal people who moves one place to another place for gathering food and hunting animals. For gathering food, hunting animals, they moves one place to another place. That is called as nomads. Nomadic period. So totally nomads. They have no knowledge. Later, and the stone periods are there. In that microliths, macroliths, like that, they used stones as a weapons. They used stones as a weapons. First, in the macroliths, biggest stones they used as a weapons, big stones. And later, microliths means a small stools. They sharpen that. They used very brilliantly, sharply. Like an example, this is a small stone. They made like this. They cut like this, and they tie another bone to that, or bone or stick to that stone, and they use this type like a axe. Okay, they use this one as an axe, and they hunting the animals. They remove the barks of the trees. They cut the branches of the trees. Like that they have used. So like that they have got somewhat these one by one. Gradually they got somewhat somewhat technologies. Okay, and like that nomads after nomads, They observed, they are gathering, they are going one place to another place, they are going one place to another place, and later they had observed so many birds are coming, they are eating some seeds on the earth, on the ground. What they are eating, they observe, they see there is some grains are there, some seeds are there. They have taken that grains, they have eaten that. Then they got some tasty, very wonderful taste, those are. So we have to do the agriculture. How they started agriculture? They started, they fluff the land with their animals. First they have done, they have invented a fire. How did they invent fire? When they are hunting the animals, they rub one rock to another rock. Then the fire came. The fire burned total, that whichever dry grass or dry leaves, everything was burned. In that burnt, some animals are burnt. Then they have eaten that boiled flesh, boiled meat from that animals. They got very tasty, they feel very tasty. So we can fire with one rock to another rock by rubbing. Then that fire we can boil the food, then we can eat, it is very tasty. Like that they have invented fire. Okay, then they have invented pots. They burn the mud and they make the pots. Here can this is we can say chemistry. So in that period they know chemistry. How they burn the mud and they make the pots and they burn that. They make the pots and they fire and they burn the pots, and for more time, they keep that for more time. So which means that is chemistry is there, and they made the baskets. They made the baskets. So that is we can say physics. They cut the trees, spines of the trees. That spines they used somewhat sticks or knives and they made as a baskets. So they know physics also. And next, they planted the trees. They planted the trees. That is called yes, George, biology. They planted the trees, biology. They know biology. And they domesticated the animals. They know zoology. They domesticated the animals for milk, for meat, for skin. They domesticated animals for fluffing their land, for transport. They domesticated the animals, which are the animals are coming to them. So such like it was started from that period. And again, comes to the agriculture, they have started by observing the birds which are eating on the surface of the earth, somewhat grains, and they saw and they observed some years after. Again, when there is a rainfall, again the grains are coming, like a plants, and they are giving some crops. Then they had observed, and they started to control. They started to control that area, and they protect from the animals that area, and the crops are grown well, and they have used that crops, and by boiling also they started to eat. Then they wanted to do agriculture. No need to move, no need to do nomadic life is they are controlled. They started agriculture. How? They started manual, their animals, they domesticated animals used for that fluffing that land. And by the nature, rainfall is there. After rainfall, crops are coming, and they started to eat the crops. Now they have enough food, no need to go to hunting and fishing. Such like their life started in that way. And totally their life started in that way. So then maximum the life, the people are settled in that water areas, river basin, river areas where there is a river. In that beside, they started to settle life started when they start agriculture. That is no podo agriculture, shifting agriculture, assuming type of agriculture. That is also a podo agriculture. Podo or shifting agriculture. What is podo agriculture? They cut the forest and cultivate the land up to fertility loss. When the land was loss of fertility, then they will go another area and they cut the forest and they started to cultivate that land. When that land was loss of fertility, I mean 2 years or 3 years after, if it is lost the fertility, then they will go another place. So this is called Podu type of agriculture, or shifting type of shifting one place another place another place another place. They are shifting type of agriculture or Podu agriculture. This type of agriculture they have done. Okay, jumping type of agriculture. First they select one land, they cut that forest and they start agriculture. And up to 2 years, 3 years, the land was lost fertility. Then they went to another place. They cut the forest area. They started agriculture, and up to fertility loss, they again return back to this land. Why? Because this land will again gain fertility by the rainfall, by the green grasses, whatever. It will again get the fertility. So they will come in here. They cultivate here. After 2 years, 3 years, then again they will go to here. Like that, this is called jumping type of agriculture. Jumping type of agriculture. So whatever Podu type of agriculture, the tribal people cultivation, the tribal people agriculture, that is Podu agriculture in the forest areas. So they like that, they started settled life. Settled life they have started. They lived in the river areas for the water. When there is a water, maximum people or animals will live where there is a water. So they started living in the river areas beside the rivers. So that is called Janapadas. Like that, the form of people, a group of people lived in that, a small group of people lived in the bank of the rivers. So that is called Janapadas. Groups of people, a small group of people lived in that small places, Janapadas. These Janapadas gradually joined each other. The small groups are joined each other and form as a big groups, big Janapadas. These are called Mahajanapadas. In these Janapadas, some who got more property, who has more property, who had more animals, more forest, more cultivable area, and their house is strongest house. Such like who I mean strongest house means they settled house like that. So that people as a leaders become the leaders. Okay, they are become the leaders. Patla. Those are called as Patla, that leaders. Janapadas or Mahajanapadas. Patlas are there. So those are leaders, like a leaders. They have started to control the people. They started to control the people. They started to give the judgments in any problems are there. They started to helping one people to another people. Like that, somewhat controlling started by the people, by majority people. I mean, who are wealthy, who are wealthiest people, who are wealthiest people, they started controlling others. Such like it was gradually formed as a Janapadas, Mahajanapadas formed as a kingdoms. Okay, those are kingdoms, which means who are the wealthiest people. They started to rule, and later they started to control everything. They have started to orders to others, such like kingdoms are started. Who is the ruler of kingdoms? I mean, kingdoms are ruled by, controlled by kings or queens. Kingdoms are ruled and controlled by kings or queens. This type of term is here. King is autocratic. King is autocratic and monarchy. All the powers are vested in his hand. All the powers vested in his hand. He is autocratic and monarchy. Is monarchism, like that will be there. Monarchism, that is kingdoms. And next after kingdoms, I mean these kingdoms are joined one by one. A ruler is king. These kingdoms are joined again one by one. All the maximum small kingdoms are joined with one big kingdom, and it is formed as a very bigger, that is called empire. Empire, biggest kingdom, Mahashmati Empire. Mahashmati Empire. Okay, so like that, the biggest Ashoka Empire. Those are in Telugu Samraj. This is Rajya. This is Samraj. Raju, and here Emperor. Who was the ruler and controller? Emperor. Emperor. Emperor means Chakravarti. Okay, Chakravarti. So like that. So in this Bahubali, Kuntala Rajyam, Kuntala Kingdom, which was she is Anushka's kingdom, and Mahishmati Samrajyam, not a Mahishmati Rajyam, Mahishmati Samrajyam, which means Mahishmati Empire. So Emperor Chakravarti, Bahubali Chakravarti. Okay, and there Raju, Kuntala Raju. So like that, empire and emperor started. Later, the people, all from the king, from the maximum period, so many years, they are controlling by somewhat others. They are controlling by others. They have no rights. All the rights, all the powers are vested in the hands of empires, kings, emperors and kings, like that. Gradually they want their aspiration, their desire is to get all the rights to live freely. They started freedom, liberty. They wanted to be live in freedomly, liberty, and a commonly. They don't wanted to controlled by others, like that. Their thinkings and their thoughts, their knowledge are increased when they somewhat educated, somewhat, and people, when their knowledge are increased, they started fight for democracy. They wanted to rule themselves. They don't wanted to control by others, some priests or popes of churches, such like people are controlled. These are the people. Then they started rule themselves. Okay, here that is next. What things will come, and here Mahajanas, kingdoms and empires. Lay after that, countries, and in these countries there is a democracy. Main is democracy. So here, dear students, you have to understood monarchy. Monarchy. Those are we can say different types of ruling. Monarchy, aristocratic or autocracy. Aristocratic, autocracy, democracy. These three things you have understood. Monarchy. What is monarchy? Total sovereignty vested in the hands of one person, in the hand of one person, in the hands of one person only. Totally, one person hand will be there. He is totally controlled. Whatever he say, that is only law. Like that will be there. That is called monarchy. Monarchism. That is called as monarchism. Autocracy, aristocratic. Autocracy. Autocracy means the sovereignty vested some groups of people. Sovereignty, total power. Sovereignty, here you can understand, the my dear students. Sovereignty means power. Okay, here the sovereignty vested some groups of people. That is called autocracy. Autocratic rule. Some groups of people rule here. Some groups of people control others. Like that will be there. Next, democracy. The sovereignty vested in the hands of all the people. The sovereignty vested all people hands. All the people hands. They will rule themselves. Whatever they require, they can do as their aspirations, as their way. They will rule by themselves. That is called democracy. People's rule. Demos means people. Krashi means rule. Demos means people. Cracy means rule. Democracy, which means people's rule, ruled by themselves. So here we know Abraham Lincoln, what he was said. The government formed by the people, of the people, for the people is known as democracy. The government formed by the people, of the people, for the people, by the people, of the people, for the people, by the people, of the people, for the people. ప్రజల చేత ప్రజల కొరకు ప్రజలే ప్రజలే పరిపాలించుకునే ప్రభుత్వం. That is a democracy. So these things will come in the politics. Okay, these things are coming to the politics. What about this governance? The governance, the state of events associated with governance. The state of events associated with governance, ruling the country, the place, the ruling, the whatever things will come in that governance, that is called politics. So here in the politics we know central government, state government, local self government, like that in that governance these things will be there. Okay, I understood. In the governance, these things, central government, central level government, state level government, local level government, like that will be there. That is called politics. This is called the state of governance. In that governance, we know, constitution. How the constitution formed. Constitution will tell how to rule. How to rule. The government, how to rule, how to conduct the elections, what are the things, everything will be there, and it is one of the plan for ruling, a book of plan for ruling, how to rule, and everything will be there in the constitution. Every government they will have the constitution, every democratic government they will have the constitution. So later in that constitution they will tell about everything ruling, and in that ruling central level, three levels will be there: state level and local level, local self, local level, central level, total entire the country, entire the country, it is will be there, the ruling is going on total entire the country under control by central level. For our country, which is Delhi, from that Delhi we are ruling in the central level, called central level government, state level government, and which means the country, for that decentralization of ruling, for easy ruling, they have divided as a country like the central, state, local, easy ruling, for that easy ruling. Okay, central level, what will be there in the central level? Three types of what is called in central level, three types will be there in the parliament. Those are executive, legislative, judiciary. Executive, legislative, judiciary. Like that will be there. Executive, legislative will make the laws, how to somewhat they will make the laws, how to rule, whatever different requirements will be there, health requirements or transport or roads and education or whatever will be there, they will make the laws. Legislative. Executive, they implement the laws. And judiciary, If any problems are there to implement the laws, if any disputes are there to implement the laws, it will give the settlement. So judiciary is separate from this executive and legislative. It is autonomous. It has all the powers. It has no relation with the executive and legislative. If any problems are come, it will be main judiciary will be there. It will be main to solve the problems. So here in the executive, who will be there? Executive means prime minister. In the central level, prime minister, I mean president, vice president, and cabinet ministers. President, vice president, cabinet ministers will be there. Those all are executive. Cabinet ministers. The cabinet ministers, prime minister, these things will be there. So in the executive, who will be there? President, vice president, cabinet ministers. Okay, in the legislative, prime minister. So once a deputy prime minister like that is in present, not there, prime minister and other cabinet ministers, different ministers will be speaker. In that legislative, you can say Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Parliament. In the Parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. So we know, and these about these all things we can learn easily deeply in the chapters, in the lessons. Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, about Rajya Sabha. These all the things comes under legislative. Judiciary, Supreme Court. In the central level, what will be there? Supreme Court. Okay, so like that will be the executive, legislative, judiciary will be there in the parliament. This is parliament. In the central level, what will be there? Parliament. In the parliament, what will be there? Executive, legislative, judiciary. Judiciary is a separate way, not in the parliament. It is not comes under the parliament. So like that will be there. Okay, next state level. State level also same. Executive, legislative, judiciary. Executive means governor, assembly and governor and cabinet ministers. Governor and cabinet ministers will come. And the legislative, chief minister, deputy chief minister and other cabinet ministers, other ministers will come under legislative, speaker, like that. And judiciary means state level, high court, central level, supreme court, state level, high court. Okay, that is a state level government. This is not history, this is politics. Okay, state level government like that will be there. So I am telling only skin. I'm not going deep. Only skin. A little small thin skin I am telling total. So we will go in inner parts when in the chapters wise. The chapters. Okay. Central level parliament. State level assembly. Legislative assembly, legislative council. Totally legislative will be there in the state level. Legislative. Okay, secretariat. These things we know are different things we will discuss later. So legislative, state level, legislative assembly, like in the parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. In the state level, legislative assembly, legislative council. So in our Andhra Pradesh, actually every state they will have two houses. In our Andhra Pradesh, maximum nearly some states only have one legislative, that is legislative assembly. Some states they have two houses, legislative assembly, legislative council. If any state has only one house, that is legislative assembly, that is called as bicameral, unicameral. If the state has one house, that is called as unicameral. If the state has two houses, that is called as bicameral. So our Andhra Pradesh up to 1980, when the form of Andhra Pradesh government 1956, from 1956 after 1983, we have two houses, bicameral government up to 1983. When N.T. Ramarao became the chief minister of Andhra Pradesh, he had cancelled that two houses. He had cancelled two houses. Only one house, that is Legislative Assembly. When the YS Rajశేఖర Reddy become the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, 2007, again he started two houses. He forms two houses. From 2007 onwards, we have the two houses of Legislative Assembly, Legislative Council, bicameral. So recently, he wanted to remove the one house, so that is going on. That the law is going on. That is the situation is going on present. So whatever, we have two houses. From 2007, YS Rajశేఖర Reddy, Chief Minister at that time. From that time onwards, N.T. Ramarao, Nandamuri Taraka Rama became the Chief Minister in the 1983. Then he cancelled two houses. There only one house after 2007. You understand? So state level, like that will be there, and comes to the local level. Local level, municipal corporation. Municipal corporation. This is called the local level. Panchayat Raj system. This is called as a Panchayat Raj system. This was formed by Balwantrai Mehta Committee. Panchayat Raj system. So in that Panchayat Raj system, cities level, town level, and village level. Three tiers Panchayat Raj system started. Three tier Panchayat Raj system first started in Rajasthan. Three tier means cities, towns, villages. Cities level municipal corporations, and town level municipalities. And village level panchayats. Present the village panchayats are they are calling our Jagan Mohan Reddy calling Sachivalaya. Okay, it's like that. Three levels government will be there. Cities level, more population will be there in the cities. So there is they have created municipal corporations. Head of the municipal corporation, mayor will chairman will be there. Municipal corporation chairman, municipal corporation commissioner will be there. So like that. And municipalities, here mayor will be there, head. Municipalities head is mayor, and village panchayat sarpanch, head who will be head sarpanch. Like that, three-tier government. This is totally local level government totally controlled by Jilla Parishad. Is totally controlled by Jilla Parishad, and municipalities are controlled by, and villages whatever these are controlled by, and one by one controlled by Mandal Parishad, and totally controlled by Jilla Parishad. In the Jilla Parishad, who will be head in the Jilla Parishad? Who will be head in the district level? Yes, collector. Who is the present collector of our Andhra Pradesh? Muralidhar Reddy. Our East Godavari. Who is the collector of East Godavari? Muralidhar Reddy. Present East Godavari collector Muralidhar Reddy. So collector will be there. This is the controlled total district will control. Under his control district, everything will be there. And in state level, who will control? State level controlling is going on, ruling and everything is going on by the chief minister, and along with the cabinet ministers. Head who is the head of the state level? Governor. Who is the head of the state government? Governor. And central level, who is the head of the central level? President. Head of the country. He was known as head of the country. Okay, who is that? President. And ruling is going on by prime minister and other cabinet ministers. So like that, central level, state level, local level governments will be there. So this is comes under politics. So local level, what will be there? Municipal corporations, municipalities. Municipal corporations are cities. Municipalities belongs to towns, and villages are related to village panchayats are related to villages. So like that will be there. In the economics, agriculture, and in the economics, what will be there? Three types of economic systems, and primary economics, primary sector, secondary sector, territory sector, like that sectors will be there. Okay, so that is remaining we'll discuss later. Yes, students, we'll discuss remaining later. I mean, I will go. I wanted to go for the test book. I want to follow the test books, and from the test book, we will start the lessons from next week. Next week onwards, we will start the lessons, and every student must and should purchase the books from our school and purchase the books and be ready with the books. We will start lessons. Lessons from the textbook. Okay. Thank you.